Hi, I'm nervous, and today we have some exciting news. We are finally getting an update to what's going on in the Backrooms. This analog horror series was started by Kane Pixels around 4 years ago on YouTube, but he stopped uploading about a year ago to work on a movie adaptation with A24. Now, if you know anything about A24 and their work, you know this is a really good match between the property and the studio, but we've been in the dark waiting for some kind of news about this, and now we have a full minute-long trailer. So today, we're gonna react to that trailer and just kind of get our first feeling for what this movie is going to be like. Now, I've never talked about the Backrooms on my channel before, so I'm going to give a quick rundown of what it is, but really, I encourage you to go to Kane Pixel's channel and watch the series for yourself so you can get the full picture. But briefly, the Backrooms started as just an internet horror concept online revolving around this image. The idea was that you could clip out of reality and into the Backrooms, which basically is just an endless labyrinth of liminal spaces. Kane Pixels adapted this idea into his series, and he doesn't quite follow all of the rules that were previously set up for the Backrooms, but what he did come up with, I personally am very fond of. The series predictably starts with somebody no-clipping into the Backrooms, and as the videos go on, we learn more about the rules of this world, the threats that exist, and how exactly it came to be. I don't want to lay out everything here, partially just because it would be very long-winded, and also partially because I'd really just rather you experience it for yourself, and if you're somebody who's already experienced it for yourself, then you already know, and you don't need me to explain it. But basically, one of the major threats that is in the Backrooms is this strange monster that is on the screen right now that seems to be made out of some sort of mutated bacteria. It seems to be attracted to the organic material in the Backrooms, aka the people, and coming in contact with this stuff is not good news. The other major thing we learned throughout the series is that the Backrooms were created as a sort of solution to the surface running out of room. Basically, the Backrooms were being marketed as an infinite storage solution, not only for things, but also for people. Of course, there's a lot of science sprinkled in to try to explain the phenomenon of the Backrooms, but I'm skipping over that for brevity's sake. Ultimately, of course, things didn't go to plan. This is an analog horror series after all. Objects and people were disappearing into the Backrooms. So of course what we see from there is a lot of government conspiracy and cover-up and mystery. It's honestly such a good candidate for a movie adaptation, so I'm really excited to jump into this trailer with you all. So I'm done stalling, let's watch this trailer together, but subscribe first. You should subscribe. All right. This is my first time watching this too, I promise. I haven't, no pre-watching. I have no idea what to expect here.
I found something.
Oh. Gosh, I like the art style already, I have to
find?
be honest. Oh,
Found the
it's
place.
perfect.
It's massive in there. It just goes on and on and on. All these rooms. This place built, though. Actually, more like it remembers them.
Ooh.
And the more times it remembers something, the less it does.
Oh, God. Oh, that's soon. You're joking. That's soon. Wow. May. Oh, I am so stoked. Okay, so let's go back and piece through this, of course. First of all, just the first frame here is so reminiscent of exactly the feeling that you get from the Backrooms. So they've nailed the production design 100%. That is so promising. I honestly, seeing A24 pick this up, I had a lot of hope for it. I was, optimistic. Love that they don't show a monster or anything. We may not be going that route with this. There's no telling. We do see a little, person riding a horse in the background here, which reminds me of something from the series. If I find it, I'll put it up here. But it's so reminiscent of like an image from the series where basically whoever is exploring in these later episodes, if there are names of people, I just don't remember them right now, but they happen upon what seems to be a home that seems very lived in. It was very odd that the house felt lived in because these back rooms feel so, right, abandoned. And as far as I know, like, it doesn't seem like our main character or anybody else is really like aware of these. So it's like, why would it be like, why would it look lived in? Like, this is so reminiscent to me of that aesthetic. And very particularly, it's just giving me memories of the scene from the Backrooms. I want to just insert it here so you guys can get a clip of it.
I don't know where I am. I need help.
You're on private property. You need to leave. Where are you?
Well, what?
Where the hell are you? I just looked outside and I don't see you.
I'm not... I'm in, like, a living room with a fish on the wall.
What is this? What is this? Is this some kind of game you're doing? Are you having a laugh over this?
I'm not. It's just, it sounds like you're on the other side of this wall, but this door goes nowhere.
I don't understand. How is this possible? I can hear you, but...
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's like one of the most eerie scenes from it. The series itself is very engaging and captivating, right? So this is capturing that for me. I may just be like glazing a lot right now, but I'm really happy, So this could be the surface. We can see outside, which kind of gives me the idea that this is the surface, but we go one layer below here and we see a sort of recreation of the room. It still has the outside, but it's dimmer. You can tell that it's more dimly lit. There's no more decorations in over here, and the couch just looks a little off, like the proportions of the couch. You can see, right? The couch is just a bit too big. And then we go another layer deeper, and that's when things get real crazy. And this is something that is in the back rooms where as you go in these different rooms that seem to be a part of these houses, there will be like chairs on the ceiling or chairs where they shouldn't be, or a room full of like stop signs and things like that, where it's just clearly like spitting out information, but it's not quite right? Now we're really getting into it. And we also lose the sunlight here. Of course, you go down further. Now this couch is like squished and kind of in two pieces. The bookshelf is completely gone. The window is upside down or like moved. It's just moved. It's just all off. Okay. And now the door seems back in shadow or something. And there's some strange artifacting on the walls here. Now it's just a completely blank room. There's now it's like this strange like floor plan or something. This is something that we see in the Backrooms too, where you'll go into a room and there will be like pieces of the floor just totally missing. Now it's just like getting into like nonsense territory. And then here, this feels like the most quintessentially Backrooms coded. Empty, abandoned office space with little reason or rhyme. This is so beautifully simplistic. There isn't a whole lot to talk about, but that's fine. I can just glaze the trailer and A24 in general and Kane Pixels. I imagine that he must have had like a large hand in this. They seem to have taken his aesthetic and the original aesthetic of the Backrooms that was not created by Kane Pixels. They've taken it very seriously. But yeah, you even see over here, all of this is so reminiscent where it's like there are these like dividers like in places where you just wouldn't imagine. Now, the voiceover is very interesting. There's something from the Backrooms that I want to reference. I'll pull it up in a second, but we'll listen to him first. Jump scare. Before I continue the video, I just want to say my channel members are going to be able to tune in tomorrow as of the uploading of this video, but if you're seeing it later, then it's already uploaded, but it is going to be a live stream of me going over my Yu-Gi-Oh collection and opening some Yu-Gi-Oh packs from Justice Hunters. I will also be potentially looking at some Pokemon cards. It just depends. You'll have to come in and demand that I do just that. Channel memberships are only $1, so it's a very low bar of entry if you want to see that stuff. I'm going to be trying to upload more card collecting stuff on my channel members only stuff, and if it does have good reception, then I will bring it to the main page or potentially start a secondary YouTube channel that is less focused on just like analog/mascot horror and is a little more generally my interest. But for now, it's for the channel members only. So become a Spark for just $1 and you can join in on that live stream that'll start on Saturday, February 28th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And of course, if you're here after Saturday, the video is still up and you can join to see the future content. All right, back to the video.
I found something. Found a place.
A place? The Backrooms.
It's massive in there. It just
Massive.
goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and that's very reminiscent, right?
All these rooms. This place builds them.
Now, this place builds them. That's interesting. I know that by the time of the Backrooms, like being filmed and whatnot, we do seem to be able to see that, yes, that is what is happening, that it's just kind of infinitely expanding. But it was started by people, and I don't know. This is just sort of like a gap in my knowledge, right? I don't know exactly if they were feeding it information or if they happened upon it already doing this and just, I don't know, encourage the behavior or something. I believe there was human input here at one point where it was kind of giving some kind of layout here because they seemed to have a plan, right, for like how things would be laid out. And then something happened, right? And it just started to kind of lose the plot, if you will. But it's interesting that it goes on to then say, actually,
Remembers them.
it's more like it remembers them. That reminds me of a very specific piece of information from the Backrooms. So let me pull that up. Okay, I've got it pulled up to switch over to, but I want to finish this first. But this poem that we're about to hear, it's so, like, it's exactly where my brain goes when I hear him say, it's more like it remembers them.
And the more times it remembers something, the less it does.
Yeah. And obviously, what he's saying here would remind me of the Backrooms series, because that's what it is. But I just want to, like, draw our attention immediately to it, right? So that we can make inferences and whatnot. So here is the poem, and we can listen to it, and then there is, you know, I have it written down also here so that we can, like, dissect it.
I had a home once, a manor overlooking the sea. Upon the world was a vestige, calling forward onto strangled ears. But when skies turned dark, the house was taken by the sea. A pillar truncated, cast down to the seabed with all the other forgotten things. But I remember. Fleeting shells sinking ever slowly, folding downwards into themselves, forever tearing along the seams of the sky, until nothing remains except the eternal ghost. And you ask yourself, could there ever be anything greater than this? You have always been here.
So it does seem, based on that, right, that they are following the same story, right? It doesn't seem they're deviating very far from the original YouTube series, which I am excited about. But I wonder, based on the voices that we're hearing and whatnot, I wonder if we are telling a parallel story, something that's happening alongside whatever is happening in the YouTube series, or if it will be a sort of not necessarily a retcon, because he could continue the series on YouTube potentially after this, but a separate continuity, but the same story. I hope that makes sense, where it's like it'll be following all the same rules of that story, but we'll be following it from the perspective of different people, and the things that happen within the YouTube series are not necessarily, you know, they're not connected continuities separately. Anyway, so I had a home once, a manor overlooking the sea. Upon the world it was a vestige, calling forward unto strangled ears. But when the sky turned dark, which we even see in this, where it's like I think it's so cool how it's like, yeah, like the further down you go, it kind of all the natural light dies, and then there's this like very bright fluorescent light at the end there. The house was taken by the sea, a pillar truncated, cast down to the sea floor with all the other forgotten things. But I remember fleeting shells sinking ever slowly, folding down into themselves. So that folding into itself imagery that we're given here and is laid out in this, like, I'm calling it a poem. I don't know what do you call it. It's prose at the very least. Just sort of brings about this idea that the Backrooms, as it is attempting to create more space, it is at odds with, I don't know, physics. I'm not someone who can very clearly articulate the science of the Backrooms. Trying to like watch and understand and process it is different than me trying to articulate it to you. But in their quest for expansion, this company's quest for expansion within the Backrooms, it does seem to be, like we see in the trailer, of diminishing returns. And that's kind of what this person, whoever this mysterious figure is kind of explaining. This world has folded in on itself, tearing along the seams of the sky until nothing remains except the eternal ghost. Could there be anything ever greater than this? You have always been here. And the rest of this excerpt from the Kane Pixels series just seems to be giving a suggestion that we could be in some kind of a time loop or something within the Backrooms, especially with the ending, "You have always been here." My point about all of this just being that the fact that listening to him in this trailer is so quickly sending me somewhere in the Kane Pixel series tells me that they are going to be quickly or closely following the lore from the original series, which very much makes me happy. Sometimes these companies will get a hold of a property and then we get kind of just whatever mesh of an amalgamation of whatever they decide is commercially acceptable, whatever they can, make the most money off of. But the A24, I like I said, I had confidence that in their ability to trust the original creator here. I'm gonna go ahead and like this because of course I did like it. And if you haven't liked the video yet, that might be something worth doing. Now let's move on to just kind of seeing where the audience is at. Let's just check to see what viewers are saying about it. Okay, so hey, we have a comment from Cosmic Crow MC, creator of the game Enter the Backrooms here. I released my game on Steam just over 5 years ago because I thought the concept was really neat and because I wanted to try making a commercial game. It was very rough around the edges, but I had fun and continued pushing updates after release. About a year later, Kane Pixel started releasing his found footage videos, and their virality trickled down to my game. Despite its subpar quality, I didn't even use a proper game engine, the hype around the Backrooms brought more attention to my game than it ever deserved. Oh, I wouldn't say that. If it weren't for his work, I couldn't have afforded my college degree in game development, which I am completing this year. The Backrooms and Kane Pixels literally gave me a head start in life, and I couldn't be more excited to see a movie about it all. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional. Oh, that is so cool. Wow. Well, Cosmic Crow, I can't wait to see what you're capable of. I can't wait because we already know a little bit. Props to them for actually going in there, filming, and then escaping to post it. All right. I don't have a whole lot more, obviously, analysis to give on what we see in the trailer because it is scant, but that's a good thing. And I do have things to say about the effectiveness of this trailer, and that is something I really do want to talk about. As someone who is very passionate about movies and movie making, it has been so increasingly frustrating to feel incapable of watching movie trailers. They're all edited the same, right? Depending on the genre, you know the edit. And they do a really bad thing, in my opinion, which is they tell you the story of the movie that you're gonna go see. I get so tired of, apparently, I'm sure it's executives, right? It's the guys in the suits who have no passion for filmmaking, who have so little faith in the ability to market a movie without telling the people exactly what they're going to see beat for beat. It infuriates me. I genuinely don't understand how we got here outside of like capitalistic greed and just having no care for like how to artistically present the idea of a film. It's like they don't trust the audience to be able to have any media literacy whatsoever. And the fact that they don't trust people is exactly why people don't have it. I'm going to say this again. The fact that executives do not trust audiences to have media literacy is the reason they don't have any. There is no interest in like building suspense because everything is about the bottom line. They cannot handle the just allowing the piece of art to speak for itself. Trailers should be an art. I fully stand on this. It shouldn't just be a sizzle reel of what happens in the movie. Now, sometimes a movie is a popcorn movie and nobody's trying to make any grandiose statements. Nobody's trying to like necessarily like be an art house film or whatever. And so, you know what? Fine. Do whatever you want, right? It's your art. You do whatever you want at the end of the day. But I do not like when creatives are told no when it comes to marketing their movie exactly the way A24 is marketing the Backrooms. We get a little taste of what is to come, and we fully understand the atmosphere of this movie through this trailer. You don't need more than what they gave us here. This could be the only trailer we get for this Backrooms movie up until May 29th when it releases, and I'm telling you right now, it's perfect. It's effective. I don't need anything else to want to go see this movie. And I know that I cannot speak to this from the perspective of somebody that doesn't already have a lot of knowledge about the Backrooms, right? I know that there's a lot here that interests me and intrigues me, so I know I can't speak to this as somebody who doesn't already have all that. But I am telling you, the storytelling from just this trailer alone would be enough. This is something that I would be like, I want to be in the theater, right? I want the full experience of being in a theater and having this just huge, just like encapsulating the full breadth of my vision, right? And just taking me somewhere else. I can see this movie doing that. Now, I'm going kind of crazy hard on this. Like, if this movie sucks, that's going to really suck for them. But I promise I can tell you that this movie trailer is so deeply effective. I am 90% positive that a good portion of the audience for this movie will not have seen the Backrooms. And that's saying something because 71 million people have watched the first Backrooms video, okay? It's a very popular series and video, but there are the more you live on the internet, the more you forget that there's so many people who are not online like that. There are tons of horror fans who are gonna look at this who have no idea what the Backrooms is outside of maybe they know the original story of the picture or something like that, but they don't have the Kane Pixel's name means nothing to them, right? And frankly, I hope, and it would be really cool if they see this trailer and it gets them into watching the Backrooms and maybe even gets them into the analog horror genre that exists on YouTube and online in general altogether. I really like, look, I'm glazing hard here. If this movie sucks, at the very least, whoever put together the trailer knew how to sell a turd, okay? Like, for real. I'm saying this, I'm from a very optimistic standpoint, so I can still see a world where, of course, the movie is nowhere near what this is, hyping me up for, and it just doesn't live up to our expectations. But this gets me really excited, and I genuinely am optimistic that it will bring people into a genre that I really am fond of. Anyway, the one other thing that I do want to say before I wrap this video up, because I don't want it to be too long, is that I see a very interesting opportunity for some allegory in this film. There's nothing necessarily that implies that it will be a part of the series, but based on current events, it would be interesting to see if they do incorporate some allegory there, or if, regardless of intent, it will still read as an allegory for AI art. The way that the Backrooms is being spoken about in this trailer specifically seems to suggest, right, that it is remembering things that it has seen and regurgitating it back, but it's slowly losing the essence of the original every single time it is making another regurgitation, right? Another copy or whatever. And that feels very reminiscent of the way AI operates, where it is pulling from multiple sources and regurgitating something out that is a facsimile of all of the things that it has learned from, right? So I think that there is an opportunity for this movie to go in that direction. And of course, if the Backrooms did choose to go this route, it wouldn't be unheard of for the genre. The horror genre is very well known for allegory. There are horror films that are allegories for being queer. There are horror films that are allegories for racism, for mental illness, and so on and so forth until the end of time. And it's no surprise that that also has to do with whatever is historically or current events wise seen as a fear in the public eye. And I will say a really good example of this is The Twilight Zone. If you go back now and watch The Twilight Zone with any sort of knowledge of the Cold War, post-World War II sentiments and whatnot, you will see those sentiments echoed throughout the series of The Twilight Zone. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Backrooms ended up being, even unintentionally, an allegory for these rising technologies that don't really seem to produce anything but a regurgitation of what already is. And the more that it recreates things, the less individuality that those things have. We go from looking at this room that has a story and character, the toy, the clothing, the trash, the light peeking in, all of this stuff gives this room character. There's memories here. Someone's packing up to leave. Someone's, did they leave in a hurry? Is the person who lives here going through something? Is this all they have? Is this a minimalist kind of room because this person is maybe impoverished and doesn't have a whole lot. So there's just this one couch because that's what they have, Anyway, as we move on, of course, those elements disappear. There's like a level of this is totally nonsensical, but at the end of all of this repetition, regurgitation, we find ourselves in a very stale, cold approximation of a room. It feels very inhuman, right? But of course, that is also the liminal space aspect as well, right? Where it's like, this feels almost right. It feels somewhat familiar, but there is something missing. There's like a human element or something that is missing that makes you feel like you have to have your guard up. I don't know exactly what to expect from this film, but I do have a very good idea of the way it will make me feel, right? Very unsettling. And I'm really excited about that. These kinds of movies, like I said kind of before, these kinds of movies can very easily just be quick cash grabs by a company, a studio that sees it and goes, I can, throw something out real quick and people will come see it because it already has a built-in audience. It's promising. Seeing this is very promising is I guess what I really will say. And I feel like I'm just yapping now. I could yap forever, honestly. But I've been recording for about an hour now, so I want to wrap it up here because I don't want this video to be too long. So I will leave it there. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're down there, you might as well subscribe to become a part of the nervous system and like the video if you enjoyed it. I upload videos every week, usually, and go live on Wednesdays and Fridays, usually. But if you can't wait, there are videos on the screen somewhere right now just for you. Okay, bye!